Welcome back. My name is Damaristo and welcome to Dama's Walk the Talk show. And we're here. We're very grateful. Thank you so much for keeping in touch. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for getting the notification button so that you know what is happening. With me is Michelle. Michelle, very welcome to our Walk the Talk show and thanks for taking your time to be with us. Karibu Sana.
My name is Michelle Arscott. I've been in Kenya now for 3 years. I'm an ICF and ILM accredited life coach, and I work with adults and children and teens. I'm also a mindfulness practitioner, so I bring that into the practice. And my area of specialism is mental wellness, particularly around anxiety and stress, but giving people the skills and the tools so that they can cope positively with these things in their lives. So I work all ages really, from the very young to adults, and my actual focus is particularly on mental wellness and being mentally healthy, because it's important any time, but particularly now during the pandemic.
We are not sure when the kids open how they're going to relate to each other. I know, for example, I had a lot of difficulties trying to talk to my daughter about one of her friends who lost the mother during this COVID season, and I was trying to be like, don't be sensitive on them, don't be telling them sorry, because it's online right now. You don't know what to tell the other person. Perhaps now they're going to go back to school and their parent has passed on, and are they going to blame the government? They don't even know, who are we going to blame? Are we going to blame you realize right now many people, for lack of a better word, are blaming the Western world for bringing this disease to Kenya. There's a lot of stigma going around, and people coming back from, I know people coming back from, in part of my shows I've seen, when they come back from the hospitals, people don't want to see them, I went to the village. We lost my uncle 2 weeks ago, and it was something else, totally different. And I got there and everybody's like, she's from Nairobi, don't see her, don't greet her, don't, I had to stay in the car because everybody's like, people from Nairobi, what were Nairobi? They're carrying the virus. I had all my masks. In fact, I had two. I had the N95 and the other one. And I also had the fabric one. I also had the face shield as well. And, and everybody, even my own grandmother, my grandmother was very happy to see me. But then again, she's old and I understand, so I stayed a bit further. But then it was that same time where a few of my friends had just confirmed that they had COVID. And most of them knew they're my friends, and getting home, this is me, and everybody kept far, and when we were going to check into the hotel, they were asking us, where are you from? When you wanted to say, they said, oh, no, but we know you from here and here and here and here. And there was a lot of stigma. I personally faced it. So I wanted, how would you advise, the viewers who are watching us on stigma?
It's fear. I mean, what's stigma? Yeah. It's fear that people don't want to die in worst. They don't want to be ill, they don't want to be sick. And that's what causes people to act like that. So it's really sort of focusing on the fact that the medical side of it, that it's something that, it's not a blame thing. If you get COVID, as we're all trying to practice the social distancing and all those sort of things. So it's just being accepting really that people will get it and not to judge. Because I think a lot of stigma comes from judgment, isn't it? So perhaps the aspersion, that you are unclean. But we need to look at the science of it, how it's caused, and focus on that really, and the fact that it's not actually to do with uncleanliness, that we don't know a lot about this virus. We're still finding those things. True. So I think, again, fear, how do we get rid of fear? It's education, isn't it? There needs to be more awareness, more visibility about talking about mental wellness and mental health, because there is a stigma about it. Yes. The more we talk about it, the easier it is for people to actually realise, yeah, it's okay that I'm having ups and downs. Yeah. There's not something wrong with me. We're going through a pandemic. It's okay, so to accept those emotions for what they are, because when we repress them, that's when, tragic things can happen, because again, it's sitting on it and then it comes out in different ways. So definitely, not just Kenya, but globally,
Yes.
mental health needs to be a priority. I mean, I'm British, as you can probably tell from my
Yes.
accent, and I know in the UK, big campaigns on talking about mental health, particularly with men.
I saw that. I saw that with
Yeah.
national
So
health.
even like a country like the UK, you know, so it's a global thing that we all need to focus on. So in the UK, what they're doing is they're just getting famous people to talk about the fact that, yeah, I was depressed.
Yes.
Yes, I wasn't happy. Yes, I had these emotions, to make people realise that it's okay to have those emotions. It's not a bad thing. Emotions are never a bad thing. Everything is about getting things in the open, education, yes, talking about the experience, so that education's the key to everything, isn't it? When we're informed, then fear and taboo things are less likely to happen when we're having that. And it's actually, well, actually anyone in theory could get it.
And I agree. The Bible says, "My people perish because of lack of knowledge." Maybe because we don't seek the knowledge, or we seek the knowledge and we refuse to just follow it up. Because you find somebody, it needs to be out there that this is what will happen for the masses, for everybody else. It's been mentioned enough times that right now there's a lot of domestic violence. One, because of course there's nowhere else to go right now. Men who used to go home at midnight at 1 have to be home by 7 or 7:30, and perhaps they've not had that interaction that you were saying with their wives, or their wives have not even had interactions, and there's a lot of anger piling up and all that. Do you think we have places in Kenya where we have safe houses where women can run to, or what happens? Do they have to, how are they supposed to cope with this new situation? Because it's become our new norm right now. How are we supposed, are they supposed, the marriage counseling, because the domestic violence, if you check with FIDA, if you check outside there, it's really, really, really gone high. It's even been in the news that the domestic violence is really high right now.
I know of, because I'm on a group called Mom Boss, which is a really big group, because I think here it's about getting into those groups, because when you connect with those groups, that's when I hear about these things. So I know, I think last month was maybe, I think it was a day for domestic abuse, to talk about it, to bring it to the forefront, and again, contact details of where you can go. Again, I think the problem is it's about communication. These channels need to be broadcast so that people know where they can go to, because I think that's the problem. People often, unless they're not in these groups, because they're there, Kenya's that sort of place, you can find things, but sometimes it can be hard to find them. So there needs to be some sort of centralisation, so people know, and then using the TV and those things so that people know where they can go, because I think not everybody knows, and it's unfortunate because for some people it would be critical to know that information.
Michelle is saying we need to open up communication channels where we are able to tell people that there's this forum going on here. We have mental health channels where we can promote this communication and just let them know that, you know what, you can run here. There's this group that has domestic awareness where they will let you know. So I guess back to you, Ministry of Health, you need to really, really, really focus on mental health awareness, and perhaps create even a week where we just have to talk about it the whole week, have shows about it, or talk about anything else. Put a mental week health where we are able to just discuss these forums and discuss all these other things to deal with. You know, men don't like looking like they're losing. Men don't like looking that they've lost their jobs and they cannot provide for their families. Do you think it's time we really had real hard conversations with the men to just tell them, yes, it's fine to not have, it's fine to seek help, it's fine to say, yes, look here, I'm going through the season, look for a friend, talk to a friend and say, you know what, I don't even have bread today, I don't even have, you know, I can't go home empty-handed, you know. Do you think it's time that men had real talk with everybody else and say, you know what, this is it? Because I have seen my church really, really doing a lot of mental health, a lot of Zoom online and sending us messages saying, you know what, if you feel like you really need to talk to somebody, but I don't know about other people, but I want to believe that maybe it's time we started having this real conversation and talk to people about it. But then again, what happens with if you've been piling up issues together, piling up, where are they supposed to seek help? Are they supposed to go to a hospital? Are there psychologists in the country that people need to run to? Do we have do you have an association where people can say, you know what, it's free? Because most people again fear at this time we don't have enough money to run to a hospital or run to a church or a mosque or a, you know, or is there an association? Is there where people can just come and run and say, this is it?
I think it was the Red Cross,
Okay.
but I have seen some information where you are able to contact counsellors for free.
Oh, okay.
So there are out there,
They're out there.
but the thing is, it's publicising, isn't it?
Oh.
You know, so this information needs to be publicised. So I know there is some provision. And I know there's a lot of counsellors, a lot of life coaches, a lot of psychologists out there. But again, it's publicising it and people knowing where they can go for that support. And also setting up groups. You know, because if you can have a group, it's a bigger impact. Sharing, so you realise it's not just me. So your feelings are validated because that's important, and you realise.
We only see that in the movies.
I know.
That in movies. I haven't seen it in Kenya where we. So back to you, Michelle. Michelle, tell me, what's your youngest training? Do you just focus apart from, like for example, my child could be going through emotional disturbance as a girl or as a boy, a teenage boy, and all that. Do you offer such classes? And how many days is it, or how do you go about it?
So generally, I tend to do one-to-one.
Okay.
And then every so often I do workshops where I bring a group together. And as a life coach, so in terms of how I'm different from a counsellor or a psychologist, is a life coach is about giving children tools. So they know what to do. So for example, with anxiety, we would work on what techniques can I use. So for example, you know, blowing bubbles, counting to 10, leaning on a wall, going for a walk. So we teach them that, because the idea is they're the leaders of their own lives. So rather than telling them, you're working from a model where you're giving them the skills so they know they have a choice. So we say you have a choice and you can make good choices. It's fine to feel angry or anxious, and we accept that emotion. But then what can we do to make ourselves better? Do we go to our happy place? We also do meditations as well. So they just listen to meditation. So for example, it might be taking them to the happy place. So perhaps when they're feeling stressed or angry or whatever emotion, they can go back. So it's empowering them so that they can work out how they can make good choices when they're affected by these emotions.
That brings me to the question where I know Christians have this other ideas about yoga and all that. What's your take on yoga, especially with the children?
Well, for me, I mean, I practice yoga daily. It's very important for me, and I also bring it into my sessions. So how I see it is, for me, it's good for my body. You know, it's about stretching, keeping it flexible, keeping it healthy.
Yes.
That's the angle that I come from with yoga. And it helps you, you know, its research shows you it helps to relax because it's all about breathing and stretching. So when I'm working with children, I teach them simple techniques. So for example, lion breath, you know, where you poke your tongue out and you just go like that, is a great stress reliever. So that's all it is. So I just teach them techniques so they know if I'm feeling stressed, I'll do lion breath. Maybe I'll do a tree pose. So for me, yoga is about those techniques.
It's not about connecting to the heavenly realms or spiritual
Well,
realms and all
I mean,
that.
I think one of these things where it depends on how you interpret things. I mean, people do things in different ways.
True.
But I know that when I'm working with it, it's more for me about the postures, connecting with my inner feelings, my awareness, being conscious of what's going on around. That's my personal take on yoga.
Because I would love to join you life coaching, because I realized I ask many people, you know, at the age of 20s, 30s, 40s, no, let's put it 20s to 30s. That's where one of the speakers we attended a session says it's the trying time, especially the 20s, where you want to try everything. You know, you want to try. You really want to try everything. You want to do this, you want to do this. And there's a time I was in a session and I had a girl say, oh, I've slept with 20 men, I've slept with 40 men. And we asked the age, and when we were told 20 something, we're like, oh, okay, she's in that session of trying. But here we are asking, is that way when you start a bit early in terms of training and life coaching people, we might not end up seeing this attributes when they're old? Does it mean if, for example, my daughter is 12, if I brought her for sessions and all that, it means we might be able to 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 kind of bring her early enough into life coaching sessions, and assuming, God forbid, I passed on tomorrow, she's able to handle life by herself. Unlike when some of us, perhaps if we had been left at 12 or 10, at that time would not even know what to do. Do you take people through, is that part of the life coaching?
It's about awareness and self-awareness,
Yes.
and knowing that you have a choice. You choose to be happy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think probably I was still in my early 20s when I thought that a man could make me happy.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so if I got angry, say if you're in a relationship or whatever, it was their fault.
Yeah.
But then you begin to realise you're responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your actions, you're actually responsible for your happiness. So it's like life skills. That's what life coaching is. You're just teaching them and making them aware. For example, gratitude is a very important part of it.
Yes.
So you're making them aware that in any bad situation you can find the good. A game I play is called Unfortunately, Fortunately. So, you know, you might say, unfortunately, I'm at home with my boys and my husband, and I've got to work and online schooling. Fortunately, I'm getting quality time with my family. I'm getting to see them grow.
Yes.
So you're just teaching them about positive mindset. That's fundamentally what it is. And whatever the situation, I have the power. And it's also about building confidence, because I did a lot also with bullying.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about building their confidence and teaching them the skills, so that if someone says something I don't like, I have a script. I know what to say, and I know we talk about calm. Be cool, assertive, look them in the eye, mean it. So say if you were bullying me at school or whatever, then I know, so we teach them. We teach them how to hold themselves. We teach them to breathe, poker face, to say, you know, stop it, I don't like it, and to walk away. So I do bullying. I was actually going to do it before COVID, but because every so often I do bully programming. And the feedback, it's just a 40-minute session, but the feedback I get from parents. So
Could internet really have, and what's your take? If it is the internet, what are we going to do about it? How do we control the internet privacy to the children?
So again, it's having that relationship with your children, setting those boundaries, monitoring, being aware, remembering, yes, we would like to be friends with our children, but first of all, we're their parents.
That's true.
So we have to remember that, and we have to put those boundaries in. We have to be monitoring, and there's various ways that you can monitor. We have to have guidelines. We have to have, maybe for older children, perhaps the computer or the laptop is in a central area. Nighttime, a lot of things happen. So we have to have rules in terms of, you know, now is computer-free zone. So it's putting those boundaries in, and also being aware of what TikTok is, what those various things are. I mean, there's a wonderful website called Common Sense Media.
Common Sense Media.
Fantastic, because it can tell you everything about what TikTok is and whatever, and also talks about how they can use it safely. So things like changing the settings. So we need to become technically savvy, and we need to know what TikTok means, what it entails. And so that Common Sense Media, I always recommend it, because it's a great way so that you're informed. We need to be informed, and we need to have guidelines, we need to have rules, contracts.
It's called Common Sense. commonsensemedia.org. I'm told it's I'm going to check after this. I'm told it's one of the best sites where you're able to be taught what these media sites are all about. TikTok, you know, we have this joke where we say .gon and .com. Perhaps I am a .com, but a little bit of .gon as well. But again, it's one of the sites where you'll be able to check your TikTok, what all these other sites, the new sites that are coming up daily, what they are all about, how you can restrict them, how you can be able to do all the restrictions that you want. And that brings me back to the other question. We are getting a lot of information on pornography with children, and then because of the idleness and all that, and I might not be there all the time. Look at me, I'm here with you right now, and my child is at home. I might not be able to really monitor her back at home.
I think that comes down a lot to body image. So again, it's having those conversations and also talking about respecting
Yes.
your body.
Yes.
Also talking about things in a way the internet doesn't forget. So when we post things, do we want that to be, that could be on the website forever?
Forever and in the future.
You know, would you do that for a person if they were physically there? So it's really having those conversations. The same with like the cyberbullying. Would you say that to someone's face?
Yeah.
Are you feeling angry? Don't post in anger. So it's having those candid conversations. But that pornography, I think, really comes down to that body. This is my body. It's special.
Yeah.
You know, it's later on for a loving relationship. So it's talking about that. Would you do that if that person was in the room? So I think it really comes down to that respect.
Yourself and talking.
And also, from a parent perspective, we need to be putting in those restrictors on the internet. Yeah, and those things, there's like various, I mean, there's things like spyware, but what I would say with that is that you talk to your children, you say, look, I'm here to look after you, to keep you safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this spyware on so I can monitor, being their Facebook friend, knowing their passwords. This is where we have to get serious, because the implications in terms of seeing it when you're young, seeing pornography and doing...
They will open it again, they will open another account and another account and another account.
But again, it's having that conversation, isn't it? And putting those rules in.
Yeah. True.
And monitoring and making sure that someone's watching them, you know, how you can and whatever,
Okay.
so that they're safe, because this can have serious repercussions on their mental well-being. I mean, I've seen clients who come to me because they've seen something that they're not ready to see.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for your time. I know our time is up, but we really want to thank you, because I have learned, I honestly didn't even know that there's mental coaching for adults or kids, and I didn't know where this would start from. Viewers out there will really appreciate this, because they're going through a session where we're not talking about mental health. I'll tell you the truth. I have not seen sessions where on TV where we have even a session where we're saying, today let's just talk about mental health. You know, this has happened. You just see it on social media forwards and all that. Somebody has died and you don't know what to do about it. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much. And we will keep referring to people. We will send you on the bio link and on our link on the bio. Her page, her website and all that, so that you can get in touch with her. I'm sure I'm one of those clients who will definitely visit her. But here is to you, please remember that stigma is fear. We don't have to really stigmatize people out there who've just had COVID. We've all had that. It's just measures we need to take. And I really want to thank the government through the CS Kagwe, where he's been daily talking to us about the stigma, about you can get it, I can get it, and you can also, you know, protect me, I protect you. So remember to wear your mask, remember to sanitize, remember to wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds with soap and running water, and remember to keep safe. It's important to keep safe even in this season. COVID is real, COVID is there. I have seen, and a few of my friends have passed on, a few of my friends are in hospital because of COVID. So let's just keep it real and keep it safe, please. I beg you. And I thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button. Thank you very much. God bless you.